invite the 6 others to come up and join me here for a moment, please. Yes, that means you, wherever you're seated. As a part of this experience, I asked everybody to think about something that touched them, that moved them, that they saw, felt, experienced. And Emma was so excited to go first because she wants to get it over with that we'll let her go first, and then we'll move around, and I will go last because I get to share the line of the week that happened on Friday night in Emeryville on our way back. So, Emma, please.
Okay, one thing I noticed was that the homeless people, they just want someone to talk to because they're so alone out there. So I had a good conversation with someone for like an hour and a half, when you're only supposed to stay for like 20 minutes to eat. But this guy stayed and he was just talking to me, and he's just like, I don't get why you're doing this, you're so beautiful. And I was like, I just want to help out the community. And he's like, there's no way you can help out the community. And then we talked about God and stuff. And then he's like, you just blessed me and I'll be always thinking of you. And he's like, put me in your prayers. And then another thing I noticed that I did, there's this lady, and she was, I think she was detoxing from the night, and so, because it was morning time, and she really liked one of my bracelets, and then she's like, I wish I could afford a bracelet like yours, and then I gave her one of mine, and she was like crying, she's like, thank you, God bless you, and that was just something that moved me a lot.
Alright, so one thing I noticed while we were serving food, we served food at a place called Flagpole on an evening and in the morning. We started with the evening, and so we kind of got our first experience with that. When we did the morning on Friday, our last day there, I was kind of curious to see how, you know, some of the people would be, like what their attitudes would be coming in the morning after a hard night, because it seemed like a really brutal city for the homeless. Like, I don't know why they would still be there. I would just walk out. But, so, I was always the guy at the door collecting the tickets to let people come in, and I was surprised at how many people could really have a smile on their face or just kind of joke around. We started with the elderly a little bit, and so they would always try to play a trick on me and be like, where's my ticket? And just like have it in their hand, and it was pretty funny, but just, I don't know, to see that there was still kind of a bit of a outlook on life from them that was cheerful. That didn't say that, okay, this is like rock bottom, I'm not going anywhere. I still have kind of a chance with it, and that really kind of touched me in a way that it's kind of inspiring at the same time as it is just kind of
Movie.
Yeah. Tanner.
So I was noticing how racism actually put a lot into the homeless, because throughout the whole trip when we were serving, we only saw about 3 white people, and everybody else was either African American or was Asian. So it just made me seem like that's almost the exact opposite here, because most of the homeless people here I see are only white, which actually I don't get. But and then there was this one girl on the bus where a guy in a wheelchair came on, and then she just started bawling out. And it was just made me think, like, something must have happened terrible to her, because this is like, that's like the bad memory type of cry. So it's crazy.
Got a tag out?
Yes.
Tagging me to go into the ring. So I was kind of debating with this, and I'm sorry if mine seems more sermon-esque, but the thing that I thought of and made me think the entire time that I was down there is a life lesson that we always used to use at a prior job of mine, is people being interested versus committed. And it was very prevalent this week. So I have like my top 10 list of people that were interested versus committed in God's work and helping people. So we get down to San Francisco and we go to Glide the first night. And here we are. I'm trying to chaperone and we're in this kind of different situation. And I get paired with this gentleman named Troy, who we're sitting down and talking, and all of a sudden he opens up and we start talking. He's got me beat by one kid. He's got 6 kids. So at the age of 16, he thought he was smarter than his parents, and he decided to move out on his own. So lo and behold, about 5 months after moving out, he ends up at Glide needing to have food, and he ends up on the street at 16. So he now has his 6 children. He works 2 jobs. The nights that he does not work his second job, the 5 nights, the 2 nights, he goes to Glide and spends his nights working there to pay it forward and to pay it back. He also brings in his kids. Wow. Very strong message right out of the box. Somebody that is very committed to this, not just interested in helping out. It's not something to do. He's committed to doing this, to paying it forward. Second person I met was Oli. Made somebody take a picture of me with him. He is an immigrant from Botswana. Very, very nice gentleman. He says to me, I feel bad that I come here and I help out because I feel like I should be paying them for me to come help out for what I get back from these people. And that's how committed he is to this cause. We talked and we laughed and we joked and we bonded so closely that I made somebody take a picture of us. But the commitment level was so high, and the God blesses and all these things, it was just natural and genuine, and he's just an awesome individual. 2 pastors, Pastor Lyle and Pastor Monique, from the night ministries. What 2 great individuals. Never heard them complain about anything, about anyone, any type of people that they help out. I mean, these people go at 3 a.m. to a crack addict that might be having something really bad. Not one single complaint ever out of them. Monique's been doing this for over 6 years now, has never called in sick one time. Her voice was so hoarse from doing the open cathedral we went to that night. She still was there and ready to go and was a trooper. Just awesome. So committed to the Lord's work versus just interested. It was just overwhelming to me. Pastor Chris Odie, who we went with from Bethel, so awesome of an individual. So blessed that I got a chance to meet him. We were on the bus, and Hunter had offered to give this gentleman up his seat that had a big luggage. And then Pastor Odie also did. This gentleman was kind of blown away by this gesture from both of these people, and they started a conversation. He was going to rehab for a while, and I saw one of our pastors bless him right there on the spot and had a very great moment right there. Not because Pastor Odie is interested in being a pastor, not because he's interested in helping people out. He is very committed to this cause. And then, sorry, I told you I was going long. Lastly was our kids on the way back. Sorry, I'm not losing here. So we had bus passes, and we all had like a couple of days left on them. And our kids had to go out of their way to make sure that they gave their bus passes. They had a couple extra days left to people that really needed it. And Tanner is always that kid that I have to talk for, other than his brother and his sister who he talks for all the time. But he does not handle stressful situations normally all that well. So I was getting ready to talk to this homeless gentleman with a sign. Tanner didn't even flinch and went up to him and said, I've got this pass with a couple extra days and I am moved to give it to you. Can you please take this and use it. And that gentleman said, God bless you and your father, and thank you for the work that you have done. This guy didn't even know what we had done all week, saw Tanner's shirt and stuff, and just instantly I knew. So I know that our youth is committed versus interested in the Lord's work and helping others, and that's what makes me the most proud. Sorry.
Bonded with Derek over this trip. It's been a good time.
Yeah.
So I'd like to kind of talk about our kids a little bit and the whole group. And we did really great. There was a lot of kindness. We took care of each other. Never heard a complaint out of anybody. Didn't complain about any of the jobs that we were given, whether it was picking trash or picking weeds when we were at the Heron Head Park or at Glide. I mean, we just all got in there. Great kids. Open Cathedral was quite an experience. I think it's probably like an actor having to do dinner theater. It's hard to be serious when you have all the dishes clanking. I mean, we've got cars all over the place, screaming down the roadway. We've got pigeons all over the place. We have people over here having loud conversations. And Monique's, unfortunately, her speaker system wasn't working. She already had a sore throat. And so she was having to really speak out loud so everybody could hear her. But it was just this incredible. But there were people who were actually there, not just for the food that was served at the end of Open Cathedral at this BART station, but there were people who actually were there to worship who didn't fit into church. They didn't like what church stood for, the standard church, the structure of church. And just to open, come as you are, boy, come as you are is exactly what it is too. But it was really moving, and having communion with all these folks. Our kids got up and sang one of the hymns during the service, which was really cool. And we had communion, and watching the food get distributed at the end. It was just a lot of need out there, a lot of need. We did have one gentleman before the service looking at all of our white faces, and we're all from church, and he's obviously, he was from a Catholic upbringing that was pretty structured, and was challenging Pastor Odie about us. And I think that he made some progress challenging him in his challenge, in his discussion back on the challenge, and that, well, we are inclusive, because over here is Pastor Pam. She's one of the leaders in our church. And a number of things, I mean, we accept gays into our church, and he really talked long and hard with this gentleman, and I think maybe his viewpoint might have been changed a bit from it. So it was quite an interesting experience to Open Cathedral. So, and then the bus with James Taylor, that was pretty, he was on his way to rehab. And
James Taylor?
James
Yeah, that
Taylor.
was his name. That was the guy's name that was going to rehab.
And just how Pastor Odie kind of ran into the conversation and had the discussion, it was pretty moving to watch that happen. So, and I think the kids all did really well. And then I saw Hunter a number of times offer his seat to other people. He said that was a Boy Scout thing. Okay. Your turn, Joe. Go ahead. What did you learn? Just one thing that you learned.
About the church.
You told me last night.
Yeah.
You don't remember. Okay.
Okay. All right, Joel. You can see what you said at the train station. Okay. Okay. I didn't know how appropriate this song was going to be that I picked, that we just heard for this, because I like the idea of following Jesus and what that means. But the line, especially in here, a place where faith can find hope that will never die. I think for me that sums up this trip, because these folks showed me and showed a lot of other people that hope doesn't die, that hope is out there, that even if you're homeless, that even if you're coming to a place to get food that you can't do it yourself, that they come in with a smile on their face, they come in thinking that I am someone, that someone wants to help me. And these people get it. They understand that. They proved that to me over and over and over and over and over again. And the line of the trip comes at the end of it as we were standing at the Emeryville train station at night, and the train is about 40 minutes late, and I said, before things get too crazy, and after most people said to me too late, because it already was too crazy, I gathered them together, and I said this from my heart, that you guys get it, and I'm so proud to be with you, and so proud to be called, and that you still call me pastor after this week. And I said to them that I would take you guys anywhere, and I would. And then Joel, without missing a beat, says, okay, I want to go to Burger King. Take me to Burger King. And without missing a beat, I said, yes, Joel, because you want it your way. But that's okay. Because his way is the Lord's way. And following Jesus is not hard. I think we found that out this week. But it darn well is worth it. So I thank you, the 6 of you, and those that also came with us that are listed on the back of our shirts that came with us this trip. Because it's not about us, it's about Jesus. And it's about what God is doing with us, through us, and for us. And I am forever thankful to you for your support and your prayers and your words. They mean a great deal on things like this. Not that they don't otherwise, but they do especially at these moments. So thank you. And thank you to God through whom all this is possible. Because we followed, and we did, and we will continue to do so for the rest of our days. Amen.
Amen.